Tony Giordano, luxury LA mansion broker turned real estate crypto disruptor. We met 7 years ago, right?
Yes, we did.
Do you remember that?
I do remember that.
What was the pitch you gave me?
Well, there was just the rise of crypto being used to purchase real estate. And back in early 2018, late 2017, they didn't know where it was going. And so people who were making millions in Bitcoin, wondering if it was always going to keep growing, wanted to park it in something more stable at the time. So they were asking, hey, how do I maybe buy real estate with my profits?
And your answer was a Malibu mansion. And it was like, you had me in Malibu.
Yep. My client was willing to take Bitcoin for the sale of his property, so we marketed it that way, and the rest is history. It just continued to grow, and then now we know where crypto has grown to.
And I remember going out there and standing in Malibu, and I forget the price point of the house, but it was multi-millions. And I'm standing there going, why do we buy it in crypto? Why not just buy it in cash? What is the benefit of buying a house in crypto? But over 7 years, it's blown up. So really simply dumb it down for everybody. Why does anybody want to buy a house in crypto?
Depending on the crypto you use. So if somebody comes to me now and says, I want to buy a house using Bitcoin, my question is why? Why on earth would you trade an asset that's going to go up 20 more times than that house will in the next 20 years? So now you have all of these new private equity firms and people, giving loans, almost like a margin loan against your stock, giving you a loan against your Bitcoin assets so you don't have to get rid of it, and now you can just go buy the house traditionally.
So that's where it's evolved. People aren't buying in Bitcoin. So I was right to think it was dumb to do it then.
Not in Bitcoin, but they're buying it in other cryptos, using crypto or the USDC and recording things on the blockchain now. So it's just, everything's just evolved with it as a form of currency.
But we're now just borrowing against the crypto.
Yep.
And that's getting us mortgages, and we have mortgage companies that specialize this. I know you've talked about those before.
And Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac coming out with the crypto-backed mortgages.
What is that going to do for the market?
Well, there's just a lot of people who have a lot of crypto assets, and it has not been traditionally used as a form of verification or asset or collateral for a mortgage. And so I think it's just going to open up the doors where people now can use it to purchase property or get a mortgage for it.
Now, you jumped on this train really early. I know it was 7 years ago, which seems like a lifetime in crypto, but you were really ahead of the curve on it. What made you say, this is the future and I'm going to go all in? Because you travel the country basically telling agents all over how this works, explaining it to them over and over again. What is the blockchain? Why do I use crypto? How do I use it? What sparked your interest?
In 2014, I was speaking at a tech conference on real estate tech and just social media and disruption of technology with real estate. And this guy came up to me thinking because I'm techie, he asked me a question about Bitcoin and blockchain. But the way he asked it, I pretended like I knew what he was talking about. I was like, oh, I'm sure someday somebody will be able to buy a house using crypto. And so he walked away, and I went on Google and I searched what is Bitcoin and cryptocurrency, and this is 2014, and I was just fascinated by it, and I was fascinated about the fact of how fast the world was embracing it, and then I just started doing research, and then that's when I realized, wait, this isn't going anywhere. This is going to take over the world. So I just started learning it. Before I knew it, I was teaching it, and then that's when the gentleman came up to me and said, hey, I need to park some money in real estate. Do you know anybody who'd be willing to take Bitcoin?
And there you are at the Malibu house selling it.
Yep.
Did that house ever sell in Bitcoin?
That house did not sell in Bitcoin, no. He took it off the market and actually ended up keeping it. He's still the owner.
Okay, so it explodes onto the scene, but then Bitcoin and crypto in general has had waves. You saw this huge run up. People made millions and millions of dollars. Then it came down pretty hard, but you stayed in the game.
I stayed in the game because look what's happened. Every time it's gone down, it only goes down to a new bottom, and then when it goes back up, it surpasses that bottom, and then it goes down. And then so when you look at it, it's almost like real estate. Yeah, it has its crashes or it has its shifts, but then it ends up going up 10 times more than it went down. And so now you see everything, like look at all the protocol the crypto bills that have been put into law from the president recently. You have people like Mike Saylor, who says that there's no reason it won't be 10 million a coin, one day.
And Mike Saylor is for everybody?
Mike Saylor, he's just a very crypto expert in the game. Like he's just always being interviewed and just
So he's kind of a disruptor in the space as well.
He's a
big followers.
Big followers.
And I notice that you have big followers on social media as well, and you have for a while in the crypto space. What is it about social media that seems to have fueled crypto, as well as, you know, keeping real estate one step ahead of the game?
I think because crypto is directly connected to technology, social is directly connected to technology, so you just have a lot of experts there in that space.
Did you know that early on,
No.
that you had to build your social space? Because you have over 1 million followers on Instagram.
And that's been from other things that I've done in the past, you know, being on a few episodes of $1 Million Listing back in the day, speaking in front of audiences and them seeing my social and then following me while I'm speaking. So it's taken a long time to build that. But then when crypto took off, it really did start increasing the following, because now I wasn't speaking to 2,000 real estate agents. Now I'm being brought into international conferences that have 20,000 attendees just in the crypto blockchain space. And that's when it was eye-opening. I was like, wow, this is worldwide.
So you never expected that the social would kind of go hand in hand with the crypto and take the whole real estate venture forward. And you talk international as well, so that fueled it. How did you build on the social to create the platform you have now?
I think it was really just making sure I continually share stories or share things about blockchain and crypto. I'm never going to DM people or say things like, hey, I have an investment. You know, we have to ignore those. Those are
You're not going to sell me that
scammers.
$40 million or $50 million
But I
again.
use it on, yeah, exactly. I use it on the educational aspect, teaching people that you need to take it serious. And it's not just if you're in real estate, it's people will be able to buy cars. You know, you have Elon Musk, who allows people to buy Teslas with the Dogecoin, all these different things. So eventually Amazon now enabling things with Bitcoin and Ethereum for checkout and stuff. So it's going to find its way into everything. Social media is how it's getting out there.
And teaching is a big part of what you do. I know that because you have lecture series, and I remember, again, 7 years ago, me saying to you, I don't get it. You know, what is the biggest block in your explanation of blockchain that people have that they don't understand, that keeps people perhaps of my generation, which is, you know, the 50-plus crowd, which has the money? What keeps them from really buying into it when you're teaching them?
I think, well, the older the generation is, the less they're understanding or getting it. The younger generation understands it because it's tech. Remember, I try to tell people gaming always has the technology before anybody else. And gaming, these metaverse games and these VR games that our kids are playing, when they want to buy a sword, they have to, you know, that game has to be connected to a bank account from their parents. And so when they buy the sword, it can't go in with dollars, so it turns into a crypto. So it was in there long before anywhere else. So now what you see happening is, in the space of blockchain, is when I'm teaching people, I go, cryptocurrency is just, it lives on blockchain. And cryptocurrency, Bitcoin, has only been around since 2009. Blockchain technology has been around for over a couple decades, if not 3 decades.
But I'd only heard about it when you first said it.
Because it just wasn't being used for anything at all, but besides data entry. Now, it started being used for crypto, which is how you plug into Web3 onto the blockchain and do your trading and stuff like that.
Okay, Web3. What?
Web3 is where blockchain exists. So the only way you can get on Web3 is you just open your Google Chrome on your computer. You have a nano ledger, which is a cold wallet that you plug into your computer where your cryptocurrency exists. Once you plug it in, now you just open the app, and now you're on Web3. You're on the blockchain. You're not on
the internet.
No, you're not on the internet. And so it's just fascinating. Now, I will explain one thing. It's important because blockchain now is not just being used for crypto. Now you have governments, you have organizations doing all their data entry. So what did we have 40 years ago? We had filing cabinets at any organization, that vault of filing cabinets. Everything was file, right? And they had to keep it for 7 years. Then we went to CD-ROMs. So they got rid of all the filing cabinets, and now it was CD-ROM. Then we went to USB drives. Now eventually everything will be recorded on the blockchain. Deeds of trust as NFTs on the blockchain instead of a piece of paper at the government center with the notary public seal on it as your deed of trust and security for your house. that will be recorded on the blockchain.
And I'm sorry to say, I still have records and
Yes.
CDs, as well as Spotify. You talk about government.
Spotify is important.
You talk about government, and that's where I'm starting to see commercial real estate really get into the blockchain, get onto crypto, because they're using government filing, they're using land records, they're using all kinds of stuff. Crypto has really blossomed in the residential real estate space. Where are we in commercial?
Commercial is definitely right around the corner from really embracing it. So
we're on the edge.
We are on the edge. So, and it's already happening, and I'll give a couple scenarios. But residential, all day long, you have companies like Property that record residential transactions, people selling their house with crypto. Then you have the tokenization of real-world assets exploding right now. So
explain that.
Tokenization meaning I have a yacht, and instead of one person buying it, I tokenize it on a tokenized blockchain company platform. We say that each token for this boat is $50 a token, and now somebody can come and just buy 10,000 tokens, and they have a fractional ownership of that yacht.
And they do that with art, like.
Right, but but it's not a owner-occupied yacht, meaning it's a yacht that gets leased, and now they get a return on it because they're
It's like a timeshare in the Bahamas.
So now you have the tokenization of real estate happening. Well, nobody's going to tokenize a home that is going to be lived in by the owner because...
There are shared platforms like Picasso.
So that's not tokenization, that's fractional ownership. Right. Tokenization is you're buying something as an investment to have a return.
But you're not going to live in it.
But you're not going to live in it, or you're not going to use it for right now. So that's where commercial real estate has taken before residential. So you have companies like Realty.co, and Remy, who's the CEO and founder of that company, he tokenized, so it's Realty without the Y.co. And when I came across him, I go on there and I start seeing listings all over the country that have been tokenized with an LLC that owns the property.
And these are office buildings or apartments?
They're rental properties. They're anything that has a return on rental income.
So it could be an office, or it could be a retail space.
And back then, that was in 2020 when he founded that company and went through the SEC and everything. But then with all of these regulations, the SEC, as we know, is it a commodity? Is it not? Like, what is it? So there's been lawsuits and all these different things with, cryptos like Ripple. So right now, if you go to their website, for the time being, United States citizens can't invest in the United States real estate that's been tokenized because it's still regulated. But now with all these recent things.
Foreign ownership, which in commercial is huge.
Exactly. So now international foreign nationals can be buying United States real estate, buildings, whatever it might be, by just buying a certain amount of that token and getting the return.
And are they doing that?
Oh, yeah.
How much?
I think he's done a few $100 million in tokenized real estate on his platform.
To foreign nationals?
Yeah. Now, that's just the tokenization and how commercial real estate's doing it. Now, let's talk what my a client, and he's fascinating to talk to. His name is Bo Vargas. Bo Vargas is the founder of a company called BV Solutions. They, with AI and blockchain, have created software to not just allow residential banks for mortgages, but commercial finance companies to allow somebody to transfer their 3% interest rate to the new property that they're buying, so they don't have to get rid of that low interest rate that they got.
So if interest rates are fluctuating, you're safe. You're locked in.
And he calls them transferable mortgage bonds, and there's already been media on it. Transferable mortgage bonds for both residential and commercial. Why is that so important? Because, well, first, banks have old technology. So to just easily transfer it to a new, there's just so much things that have to be done, so it's just not worth it. But it would open up so much more transactions happening if people weren't sitting on that interest rate. So now with AI and blockchain, he can plug it into any bank and allow it to transfer the mortgage and the interest rate to the new property. The AI automatically does the risk analysis on the new property, making the bank feel safe that it's just as good of a property to let that interest rate go to. Now that person doesn't have to pay the prepayment penalty that is very, very common in commercial real estate, and allows them to use what would have been a prepayment penalty as assets to invest in another property, and now it opens this property for the next person to be able to come, and they'll have to take whatever the current interest rates are.
Okay, but this sounds all extremely complicated and kind of out there to me, and I'm in commercial real estate all the time talking about it. How much do commercial real estate developers, investors, financiers, lenders know what you're talking about?
Well, I think it's easy for them to understand once you say, look, you have a 4.5% rate on this, $20 million note. You also have a prepayment penalty for 7 more years that doesn't allow you to sell the building without paying a $4 million penalty or whatever. If your bank allowed you to move
that loan
to another commercial building you really want and
with
keep
no
your
penalty,
current rate, would you? Oh yeah. Like they would understand it immediately. They don't have to understand the AI and blockchain that's on the back end helping the bank do it. They just understand that it's secure from the blockchain. The AI will do the risk analysis and allow them to transfer it. So it's almost like, do you care about the mining process of a Bitcoin? Do you care about the mining process of of your jewelry? Do we go into a jeweler and say, well, where was it mined?
only if it's sustainably sourced.
Where was it mined? Where was this? How many people were involved? We don't care about that process. We just want the gold. So this is just the beginning of where the technology is being used when it comes to AI and blockchain in real estate.
In commercial real estate.
Commercial.
So they may understand it when you explain it that way. I actually get it, believe it or not. But my question is, how much is this really out there in the market? I mean, once you explain it to them, they will get it. But do commercial real estate owners, developers, investors even know this exists?
They're starting to. So Bo, he's already been out there talking to the CEOs of the largest mortgage servicers, as well as the largest commercial brokerages like CBRE. So he's already been telling me, hey, so-and-so's ready to go. Like they're going to literally put this into their system and start doing it.
I just wonder, when you look down the road 10 years from now in the commercial real estate space, residential, it's already happening. We've seen it. It's almost mainstream. I hear about it all the time. I know the companies, they pitch all the time. But 10 years down the road in commercial real estate, is it all going to be operated on the blockchain, whether it's the titling and the land or the lending or all of those technical aspects of the financing of real estate?
I don't see how the entire real estate industry will not be on the blockchain within 10 years. It's just here, and people are recording everything already on it, and it's the most secure platform and technology to do it. So 10 years, I'd be surprised if it takes 10 years.
Because it saves money?
It saves money, it saves time, everything is instantaneous. The fact that somebody can open up escrow with Property on a Saturday and not have to wait for wires on Monday or earnest money and be able to plug into that platform, and literally the money is in as crypto and escrow's open and the AI reads it, reads the contracts, and then you're off and running. So when you look at how many people are involved on a real estate transaction and have a piece of everything, blockchain is going to get rid of half of those things that are necessary now, because everything is just done so automatically and so flawlessly.
So it's speed, it's cost saving. Could you have any idea of what the cost savings might be? I mean, percentage-wise, or just millions or billions?
Oh, if both industries combined, without question, it'd be billions. Like
savings.
In savings for if you combined all the savings for everyone. Think about it. If you buy a property for $1 million, escrow, title, all these different things, the notaries, everything that's being put into that play.
Commercial and residential.
Commercial and residential usually is 1%-ish, 1.5% of the sales price, not the commissions to the agents. Just the escrow fees and all those closing costs add up to usually 1.5%, sometimes 2%.
And on a $50 million building, that's a lot.
So then imagine blockchain getting rid of half of that, if not 75% of that, because less people need to be involved. Less process needs to be involved.
So what do you do next in blockchain? What is Tony Giordano's?
I think continually educating. Like I am on a path to get things like this out there so that people understand it. But I'm also on the path of making sure people realize, look at what's happened in the last 7 years with all the bad publicity that was on it, years ago, and then it got less bad, and then less bad, and then people who used to bash it are now number one. It's their number one portfolio investment with that particular bank, or a gentleman who everybody thinks is, the billionaire to listen to, and as an older generation that was saying it's not real, and now it's his, or he's investing in it. So I want people to understand that it's going to create massive wealth. And if you're not taking it seriously, even on the investment side, you need to start understanding it. So at least start learning what it is so that you can make a solid decision if you want to invest in it as well.